Hi, she's Trixie, and I'm Sarah, and this is our Yarn World, a place where we come to share a love of yarn crafts and all that it gives us and what we hope it gives you. We are on episode 83 today with a special update.
Yes.
To be updated at the end of the episode. We will let you know about a special giveaway that's happening on the channel, as it is our 2-year anniversary on YouTube, and we would like to share it with you guys in a very special way. And so, yes, if you stick around to the end of the video, you will know what it is that you will be possibly getting if you enter in to win, and how to enter in to win if you choose to do so.
Yes.
So we are excited to share that with you, but as always, we'll go on to what we normally share in our videos, and we'll start with you.
Yeah. Well, I had told you last time that I was going to try and do the scrappy granny rectangles all the way up to row 14, but that is just not going to work for me. I got to 10 and I got them all done at 10, and I was like, nope, that's big enough, because by the time I get these all together and then put the border on, it'll be a nice blanket. And even if it is smaller, I can give it to one of the kids for Project Linus or whatever. So I decided to start putting it together. I watched the second video of Ophelia Talks to figure out how to put it together, and I watched it and then just kind of tried to do what she's doing, and I got the first 3 together. And I wanted to show you the yarn real quick that I'm putting it together with. She's doing hers all scrappy, and she's using the same yarns to go around hers and put it together as she has the whole time. I'm not doing that. I got a special color, well, it's kind of incorporated in some of these blocks.
Kind of works really well.
Yeah, it's got pretty much all the colors in it, and it is, I love this yarn, and the colorway is Blasmopolis. Blasmopolis. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Blasmopolis.
Yep.
And so I just think, it's got all the different colors in it that are pretty much in my color scheme for this blanket. And so I had one, but we went back to Hobby Lobby just a little while ago, and I got the last 2 in the store. So I was happy about that. I didn't want to run out at a critical moment, and I was able to find those. And actually Hobby Lobby right now is having a sale of 30% off all the yarn. So there's a tip for you if you need more yarn or whatever. So, okay, we have 3 of them together, and what you do on the first one is go all the way around it with the color that you're going to be putting it together with. And then the second one, you go around 3 edges, leaving the edge that's going to be going across. And you do your clusters on the side that doesn't have it already, and you slip stitch into each of the cluster hole. You slip stitch once into each of those cluster holes on the side that already has the clusters, and it puts it together for you, and it still looks like the rest of it.
Yeah.
And it's really nice. Now, I have not seen her border one yet. I don't even think it's out yet, or if it is, I haven't seen it. So I don't know what she's doing for borders, but I may just do my own borders. So yep, I got 3 of them together. I got 6 more to put together with this, and then I can start doing borders. And but that's why I wanted that yarn, is because you're still doing clusters, you're still using up the yarn. I mean, crochet does take more yarn to work with than knitting does. So I wanted to make sure I didn't run out, and I was lucky enough to get the last two in our Hobby Lobby. So I was so happy about that. So that's all I've got to share right now.
Okay, so last week I told you guys that I was getting certain projects done, but I didn't really have a lot to show for it. Like, I was really out of it, and I didn't really come prepared to be able to actually show what I was telling about. So I mentioned a couple weeks ago that my daughter Olivia was working through some big emotions, and she asked if I could get her a pillow with a very angry emotion so that when she's angry she can scream into it, as a solution to just screaming and annoying everybody. And I told her sure. So we did make her that pillow, and I accomplished it, and then I forgot to completely show it off last week. So I grabbed it, and it has already been well used, and you can feel how soft and like frayed some of the edges is because it's been tossed and stuff, but like it's getting its use.
But that's what it's for.
It's getting its use.
Yes.
So it's just a little round pillow, a little red round pillow that I made, and then I just made two eyes, eyebrows, and a frown, and I just sewed them on and stuffed it. And yeah, she uses this when she gets mad to feel like she's not alone. She sometimes just holds it just so that she feels like she has the right to be mad. Mm-hmm. And it's really been helping us identify things. Like yesterday, my husband was like, "Are you mad?" "Yes!" Now, she's 4, mind you, so, you know, her explanations are pretty intense, but she's like, "Yes!" "Do you know where your angry pillow is?" "It's in my room." "Can you get in your room?" "No, the door's shut." "Do you think you could ask?" "Please open the door so I can get my angry pillow." And just...
I can see her doing it.
He's like, "Okay." And she goes in there, and then she shut the door in his face.
Oh.
He's like, "Okay. I hope you enjoy your angry pillow." So yeah, this has been helpful. She's returned to school, so I was able to sneak it to be able to do this video. And if you do hear anything in the background, it's because my son is with me. So I apologize if he comes at any inconvenient time. As for the Godzilla, I mentioned that because I'm doing those fins with the spikes on them for the back of this Godzilla, I was putting them in little baggies so that I knew when they were all done and just sectioned off, and I didn't confuse one size with the other. Mm-hmm. I have now completed all the fins. So now all the fins in size small, medium, large, and extra large are all done. And like, as you have known before, the body with the head attached is now done. And I did get the spiral on the tail done. I do technically have to do these very specific small little like shell fins that they want me to do. You know, the normal shell stitch where you're putting a whole bunch of double crochets into one stitch so that it fans out into, yeah, I'm supposed to be doing that along very specific points in this to fill in where these will not be, but I figured that that would be something I did after, in part,
if you have time,
because I will have time if I just get it done. I got distracted. My husband bought me a video game, and I've been really enjoying being able to do some other form of downtime. Like last week I mentioned that I stopped because my thumb was hurting, and I stopped to read a book, which I brought to show you guys. But also as well, it's like just having something else to do with my hands that is downtime and entertainment is really nice, and I've been really enjoying the nostalgia plus being able to play it in much more higher resolution and a new storyline. It's just been amazing to be able to play and just kind of like enter into a different world. But back to the Godzilla. As you know, the body and the arms are completed. So I'm at the point where I just need to create the legs. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to get the legs done. Next week. Next week will already be into the beginning of December. And his birthday's December 2nd?
8.
Oh, 8. Why did I think it was the 2nd?
Same day as our anniversary for YouTube.
Okay. So that lands on a...
I don't remember.
I do believe I have a...
Tomorrow's the 30th.
I will at least have a week's worth of time to finish this project.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think next Thursday
Next Thursday? Okay.
is the 8th.
Okay. So my current plan, get the legs done. They shouldn't take me that long. The arms didn't take me that long. So I don't imagine that the legs are going to take me that long.
Right.
Get the legs done, and I will attach them. So the biggest portion of this thing that's kind of the trickiest part is that it already is at a natural curve because they wanted you to decrease on the spine. You can kind of see those rows where it was curved in such a way that allowed for a natural bend, especially right here. So this is flat, whereas this is angled up. So obviously, whenever I get the legs, I have to position them right here on the body in a way that will allow it to support that added counterweight.
Yeah.
But I can't do that until I have the legs, so I know exactly where they have to be placed. I know I'm behind this thing, but like I won't know until I'm like sitting at the table, placing them to know where they're going to be at.
Right.
And so even though I know where the arms are supposed to be, because you can see this bit of a violin divot in this project, you can see how this kind of violins right after it bows at the neck. That's where the arms are supposed to be. They're like sockets.
Yeah.
So those are already well designed, but like I have to visualize where I'm going to put these legs, put them to be able to brace this where this is still in a very nice upright position. The tail still has the ability to bend and lay out and have that counter weight. I'll put the legs on, I'll get these on, and then I will know what sort of space I have on the back available to put the fins on so that I know how to space it. Because I was thinking about putting the fins on first, but what if that takes up too much space to get the legs and the arms on? So I have to have those on first to apply all those things, and then all the detail work will go into it, whether it be where it's being placed, how it's being placed, whether I'm stuffing the fins, whether I'm not, the extra shelled fins, where I'm putting that stuff. So by next week I will have this done.
Right.
I'm saying that now. By next week this Godzilla project will be completely finished, and I'll be able to present it to my nephew for his birthday.
But you should be able to do that for the audience too, because we'll be recording on Wednesday.
Next Wednesday you will be able to see it in its entirety before I give it to my nephew.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I was insinuating. So yeah, I got those things done, and to be honest, I'm going to be very fair. I really liked that I decided not to. The design of these fins, I'm getting the one extra large one out. The fin obviously is at the angle of a normal fin that cuts through whatever it's supposed to cut through. Traditionally with like fins, they're normally for water creatures, which I think this is supposed to be, but I don't know. But anyway, it does come at that curve where it's supposed to go in, but it just is spiked because of the drawing of the creature. But you're supposed to have this color, that differential, and then the way that they wanted you to do the pattern was you're supposed to embroider these lines on it to kind of have like these, it was supposed to really kind of make it look like a flame, or that it was shelled, or just, it was supposed to accentuate the color difference. It's getting some like silver shiny yarn and to decorate this portion, but because I used this ombre yarn that has the white, the dark blue, and the light blue, just in every strand, every consistency of the strand, it's like the strand had, depending on when you turned it, you get a different color. It worked perfectly to not have to worry about doing all that extra detail work with the time limit I had. because I didn't give myself enough time to really finish this project well. Not that it's not being finished well, there was some sacrifices I had to make, and I still think that that's fine. To still be able to offer him the best. I still got the fins done. Like, I wasn't even sure if I was going to get this done. So to be fair, I still feel like I am putting everything into it that I could possibly do.
This is a great toy for him.
Yeah. So I was considering, we have a little bit of time. I've been showing off the books I've been reading as I've been reading them to some degree. And the book I read last week is a book on history. It is a history of what, quote unquote, we call evil. And it is, so like, this guy presents an argument that it's more of a lack of empathy than anything, and based off of different personality disorders or different things that we do know about it now, we're able to kind of understand where it comes from in a more scientific point of view. It doesn't mean that there isn't a level of it that we can't predict, but there is a level of it that still allows for this less nuanced. We have a little bit more certainty as to be able to know where it's coming from.
Right.
And it's a psychology book. But I figured I'd let you know. I normally show off the books I read, but I knew this kind of wasn't going to appeal to the audience like a lot of my other ones was, because even though it is psychology and it is neuroscience, and I've always shared those with you, this one kind of went down a darker road. But it was very interesting to be able to see the history of how they have learned to approach this subject of borderline disorders, psychopathy disorders, and even just narcissism, and how they've been able to see how the brain in and of itself is actually different.
Right.
And how they've been experimenting with how can we present better hormone structures to be able to do better synaptic protein structures to see if we can actually correct the damage in the brain from whether it be environmental factors or biological factors, to see if there are any forms of therapy that we can do, possibly kids young enough where their disposition could be heading in this direction as an adult. And it was really interesting. It had some very heavy conversations, a lot of different topics about it regarding like Holocaust and other war zones and other people that suffered very, very rough experiences and lived to tell the tale, to be able to kind of represent some of the issues in this book. But it had other things in it that were like really heart-touching that I would have never even thought would have come from a book like this. But like, you will be surprised by some of the things that you read. And I know that this one was one that I was very, very, I was pleasantly surprised. The author is Simon Baron Cohen. And if anyone is interested in some of the things like I like to read, he was a pretty interesting author, and I appreciated his studies and his take on the identity of what is quote unquote evil.
Yeah.
It was just a very interesting way to approach it.
I believe.
So
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I know that got really dark, but I just really been enjoying talking to everybody about what I've been reading, and even the next one I plan to read. I've started. Can you please go play with your toys? This one's called It Didn't Start With You, and it's about epigenetic genes and just how we do have a bit of a disposition to how our family lines, what we could call like family traumas, do pass down in DNA through epigenetic genes, and how it's not that we don't have control over them, but if we don't know we're there, they tend to kind of guide our natural instincts towards how we respond to things based off of things that have happened in our family line that we didn't even realize still affected us. Someone who never experienced maybe domestic violence, if their family members in their direct line prior did, and they might have had to survive it in a specific way. The way that our genes change our DNA and then the DNA is passed to our children is shown to be very, very, it's a very well-researched topic now, but it's very, like, it's been proven to pass down in ways that, like, is supposed to help. Right. It's a good thing, but we don't even realize that it happens, and then it causes us to be bent towards a very specific way of reacting towards things, even though it doesn't match the situation.
Right.
And it's very interesting. I don't know. I've just been really interested in it, and neuroscience and genetics have been something I've been really into on top of the psychology, but it's just all this well-researched stuff, and it's just like it's stepping your toes into different things, and I really like science, so yeah, I just figured I'd just share that, you know, if I'm not working on everything all the time, it's because I need my eye candy every once in a while.
Right. Now we'll do the scripture, and then we'll go on to the fun stuff.
Oh yes, this is gonna be great.
Not that this isn't fun. I love doing the scripture. So, it's casting the whole of your care, all your anxieties, all your worries, all your concerns, once and for all, on Him, for He cares for you affectionately and cares about you watchfully. And that's found in 1 Peter 5:7 in the Amplified Version. Casting the whole of your care, all your anxieties, all your worries, all your concerns, once and for all, on Him. For He cares for you affectionately and cares about you watchfully. God is a caring, loving God who you can throw everything at Him, all the things that worry you, that cause you to fret or whatever. You can throw it all at Him. He knows all the answers anyway. And so, and He cares for you affectionately. He's watching over you. He's making sure that everything's going to go okay. Or even if it shouldn't go okay, He's still there to make sure that the next step will be okay or whatever. So I just thought that was kind of appropriate for this time between Thanksgiving and Christmas, where people have so many worries and so many concerns, and you know, whether they're by themselves for Christmas, or they're going through some stuff, or they've had loved ones die, or you know, whatever the problem may be, it's anything that you can think of, you can talk to God about, and He will be there for you.
Yes.
And that's I thought it was really good. I found that in my Bible study, and I just thought, yeah, maybe we should talk about that a little bit.
So, it's a very, very, very obvious verse. 1 Peter 5:7 AMP is the translation it's coming from. I would like to say I have not read 1 Peter in a while, so I don't know the full context of everything that's trying to be said here. But one of the things I would like to add to this is, like, God is a very faithful God. He is very consistent, and when he says something, it's not like he doesn't mean it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there are so many things that we have to take into account here. And I love this because we have to be willing to drop it off. And there is something about that. Like when I read Proverbs or even Psalms, it talks about how, yes, we need to give them over, but how do we do that? And it explains it in great detail. Well, we have to be aware that we have to set boundaries with the people that are around us. We are who we hang around. Yes, there are people that we do need to influence, but that doesn't take away the fact that we are who we hang around. So be mindful of that. It's not that we're not supposed to reach the lost, but then that means what sort of relationship do you have with them? How do we handle finances? How do we handle this? How do we feed into ourselves? How do we listen? How do we determine who we should be listening to? All these factors, right? Granted, just like it says, cast the whole of your care, all your anxieties, all your worries, all your concerns, once and for all on him, for he cares for you affectionately and cares about you watchfully. All that's true. But just like we're supposed to do that, he gives us the tool to also be able to determine what are the parameters in which he has told me how to cast them to him.
Yeah.
Okay, God, I am anxious because I'm around these people at work and I want to be able to show your love to them. I'm just having a hard time being around them. They're not my cup of tea, God. How do I do that without draining myself?
Right.
Okay. Well, I've already told you how to deal with certain things. And I've already told you how to represent me.
Right.
So within those boundaries, where do they cross?
Right.
Where do they intersect that I want you to be at, where I'm at?
Right.
And then everything else needs to just accept it. That's the boundary. Let it wash away. And I find that very practical. God doesn't give us a command without telling us why. He doesn't give us a command without setting the boundary for us. And sometimes we get worried about things that he's already made very clear as to how to handle. And so I just want to be very, very encouraging to you that if you see this and you're just like, well, how can I just cast my cares? How do I just cast my anxieties? Well, how do I do this? There are many other places in the Bible that very well represent where those boundaries are found, how you're supposed to manage it, how you're supposed to take care of them. Pardon me. My dad just got home and we're at my mom's house and my son just got really excited. So I apologize for all the squeals. So I just want to let you know that if this verse, for everything that it encourages us to do and just the relief of it's that simple, go do it, for the things that still give you worries, anxieties, concerns, all those things, there are ways to be able to still navigate that in the Bible that prove that God does want you to do it. But how do we cast them down? We find how God wants us to treat those situations, find them in the Bible, see if they fit the situation, form that boundary and say, God, I want to be able to do this the way that you have said is going to be best.
Right.
And some of the best ways to find those boundaries are best found in places like Psalms and Proverbs. So this tells us to do it, to find how to do it for specifics. I would suggest and encourage you to always go to the places in the Bible that very much are just like, you have cares, you have anxieties, I have to put myself in check. How do I set these boundaries? How does God want me to treat the situation? Because that's what he's telling us to do. But just doing it in and of itself is like, he cares. He's watchful. He's faithful. He didn't just say it just because it was a nice to say. No, he also gave us the tools. I encourage you. This is a very good reminder to search out our Bible for how to find proper ways to handle hard situations. Because he does care about our anxieties, our worries, our concerns. And that's really, really, it's so intense sometimes to really realize how much he loves us all incumbently. Because you would say, well, aren't anxieties and worries and concerns all the same thing? No, they're not. They're all different ways of addressing it, because our anxieties are sometimes things that we have no control over. The things that we worry about are things that we feel we're in control of, and our concerns are things that we feel we might need to intercede in and don't know how. So, yep. For the specifics and feeling like you can do this verse appropriately, always feel free and encouraged to go to Proverbs, go to Psalms, and find some sort of foundation in which how to practice this. This is what we're supposed to practice, but how to practice it is better solved in other verses. So just a reminder, this is what we're supposed to do, because God is a caring and watchful and faithful God. So go to verses that speak to your situation and see if you can find the formula that God wants you to take to be able to be like, okay, God, you said this, now I'm going to believe it, and I'm going to let the rest of it go.
Right.
So, again, cast the whole of your care, all your anxieties, all your worries, all your concerns, once and for all on him. For he cares for you affectionately and cares about you watchfully. 1 Peter 5:7 AMP. There was something really cool that I heard the other day from a friend. It just hit me. There was a friend of mine who was needing advice, and she's like, I feel like I'm waiting for God and I need him to move, and I'm trying to do everything I can to wait for him to move, but like there's practicality to what I feel like I should be doing while I wait for my answer, and wisdom and all these things, and I don't know what to do. And he brought up the story of Josh, the guy that she went to brought up the story of Josh and how he was told to take down Jericho, walk around Jericho. But before he could do that, he wanted to scope out and navigate certain things before he got that. And so how he did that was he sent some spies in, and that lady sent down that rope and pulled him up and was their hiding place and was where they were at and how they dealt with everything and how they navigated it. And her family was saved and became the part of the line of everything, if I do remember correctly. And he was just mentioning how God did give us wisdom, that even though we're waiting for what he told us to do, there's practicality in every sort of form of wisdom that we could still use and exercise to still further his plan, even if he doesn't spell it out for us every single situation. Right. So if you're waiting for him and you're wondering what to do while you wait, for her instance, it was the friend that I'm helping currently in my home. It's, okay, I got a job, but I need a better one. My car's breaking down, so I don't want to travel too far. So I'm going to try to find a safe from job home. But I'm still waiting for God about some other sorts of financial things that could come through for me. It's like you could still wait for them. Right. You're still being faithful and sending out those applications. But a work from job home is still practical. It's still something that is furthering your future. It's still recognizing that your situation is, I can't just keep acting in faith that my vehicle is going to still work when I know it's breaking down.
Right.
And there was those things where it's like, do I get a job or do I do this? And it's like, we do have wisdom. There are some things that are very obvious that God has given us the wisdom to still be able to navigate while we wait for him. And that still ends up being a part of God's plan. Just like with Josh sending in those spies. Right. He already knew what he needed to do, but there was still certain things that he wanted to scope out, and that ended up saving that family.
Right.
And helping them further on God's plan, because Joshua was a warrior and a soldier, and he knew how to scope out territories. So he was still using the skills that God gave him and the knowledge that God gave him to navigate hard situations. And we all have that bent, and we all have those things that we know how to do. Mm-hmm. And God didn't give us those tools for nothing. Don't be afraid to use it. Just recognize that God will give you more as you need it.
Right.
And be ready for it. Right. So I just am encouraging you. It's just like this. This is a reminder. We're supposed to do this, but we also have to apply the logic of, we can't just cast it onto him without recognizing that there is a practical way of doing it, and there's other ways of those things to be found in the Bible.
True.
So I love that verse.
Yeah.
It just reminds me, there's just things that we're God-given. We're supposed to go and do specific things, and this is how we're supposed to operate certain situations, and God has made it very clear.
Right. And that's the truth.
And these are just those reminders. And I just love that. So story. I'm sorry if that didn't make any sense. Did that make sense to you?
It made sense to me. Yeah. So, yep. We are so excited. I'm thinking about the giveaway.
I know.
And
we were distracted by the joyous little reunion of Papa with Daniel.
Yeah.
Sorry about all that noise. I hope you were able to understand what I was trying to say.
So, the giveaway is next time that we meet.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have a question that we want to ask.
So, our question is, our theme for this giveaway is what we personally couldn't live without.
Yeah.
Regarding our crafts. So things that have been a staple in our bags, how we have gotten crafts accomplished.
Yeah.
And what we couldn't live without in our notions bag. Even just on the side, whether it be water, the pouches that we use to hold our crafts. We want to give a little kit to you guys of things that we couldn't live without if we were crafting, as a kind of sign of goodwill of like, let's inspire you and give you the tools that we couldn't live without to you, our viewer, to better set you towards success for whatever craft is your next one to do. Yeah. And we're kind of just making this little cozy package of all the things that we'd want to send out to you. But our question is, what's your favorite color? Because we gotta buy you a yarn, and we can't send you with all these tools and all the things to be able to make a craft without yarn, but we have to know, do you have a favorite brand? And do you have that we could possibly find at Joann's, please? We're not gonna have
Joann's or Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby. Do you have a favorite brand, ombre, color, weight that we would like to be able to send to you in good faith, that you'd be able to have a skein of your favorite yarn?
And we're going to pick the names from the people who
comment
right on the air as you're watching.
So what we're going to do is, like we've done a couple of the other times, what we're going to do is during this whole entire week until next Wednesday, we are going to, because we always film on Wednesdays, so I know that you see us
on Fridays.
So this next coming Wednesday, we are going to film, and at that time, whatever comments we get on this video as to answering the question, what's my favorite yarn, color, whatever it is, weight, that we can either find on at Hobby Lobby or Joann's, what we're going to do is we're going to write all those things on a piece of paper, your names from your YouTube channel, and your answer, and that's how you've entered into the giveaway. Yeah. We're going to put them in something, and we're going to shuffle. Or fan them out or whatever, and one of us is going to pick from that pile, and on that video next week, we'll be able to announce what that was, the answer was. Right. And to you, we will be sending you, along with that yarn, a tumbler. A 24-ounce tumbler to have the drink of your choice while you are doing this. Okay, go ahead, show.
One of the canvas bags from Hobby Lobby, and it is not. It doesn't have a specific size, but I would say, I don't know, 12 by 12 or 8 by 8. I don't know, but it's a nice zippered pouch that you can keep your notions or your projects in. I have used that bag for so many projects. It's so good for circular needle projects. Yeah. A ball of yarn with some circular knitting needles, or even a small crochet project. You put it in there, you zip it, it's not gonna fall out. You can throw it in your purse, diaper bag,
whatever it is that you're carrying along, or it can just be on the side by your couch or whatever. If you have pets or whatever, they can't get into the basket. If that's how you normally stash your
The bag or
projects,
whatever.
the bag zips up, it closes, it's all concealed. You can throw everything that you need in there and just go to the park, whatever you want to do. It's great. I love that bag. Great to have a drink. And then I got you guys, this is a little, it's from Yarnology. It's like this little tackle box. It's a container. One side of it has a whole bunch of different like containers. And then this is sectioned off little sections that has different forms of stitch markers, this ruler, you have darning needles, and there's a list of supplies actually right here. It's one container, one plastic yarn needle, one metal yarn needle, one tape measure, 2 stitch holders, so the long ones, cable stitch holders, 3 cable stitch holders, open stitch markers, 12 locked stitch markers, and 18 bulb pins.
Wow.
This little tackle box has saved my butt, because I also bought more things to put in it. These are also from Yarnology. Yarnology is something I've only been able to really find at Hobby Lobby, but these are called stitch collectors. It is both size 3mm and 5mm aluminum hooks, but on one side it's crochet and on the other end it's knitting. So one side's crochet and one side's knitting for the standard size of 3mm or 5mm hooks, and they're small, but they fit right inside this tackle box perfectly. And I also grabbed just a couple extra darning needles just in case, because those things can be lost so easily. So this is my personal contribution to anybody's notion, and I recognize that not everyone is a crocheter or a knitter, but I figured that whoever is getting this would suit both needs. You know, you got the crochet or knitting. The darning hooks are normally used for anybody, and all these stitch markers are good for both knitting and crochet.
Yes.
And these are tools primarily for knitting, I do understand, but like the reality is that this, you never know. Sometimes it's good to even just have some of these stitch holders to even navigate like finding stitches that you want to save in a crochet stitch, so you can only work the back loops, so you're not working the front accidentally.
Right.
If it's a specific amigurumi pattern, it's very, very versatile, and I hope it benefits anybody's love of crafting on this channel, to whoever this is going to. I just know that I have never been able to live without these after I found them. So I hope this comes as a great blessing to you, along with the bag and the tumbler. And again, the way to enter in is to type down in the comments below for this week up until Wednesday,
Yep.
what your favorite brand, color, way, design, a pattern of the yarn that it is your favorite, so that we can buy it. Our 2 locations that we're able to buy yarn and get this shipped to you as soon as possible is Hobby Lobby or Joann's.
Yep.
I understand that if you want us to get something different, possibly it's just going to take us longer to get this sent to you if we're going to have to order it.
Yeah.
But please let us know what it is. I'm hoping to hear a lot from you guys, and then
we'll pick your name
we'll be able to pick your name.
next week.
We'll be able to pack all this stuff in the nice little package and be able to offer hopefully something to set you guys up for your next project very well. Things that we couldn't live without if we had a project. These are the things that are the most crucial essentials that we can't even imagine not having in our bag.
Exactly.
Or having around us, available to us. And we hope they come as a great joy and encouragement to you, to whoever and whatever viewer
Yes. I'm so excited.
Yeah, whoever the viewer ends up being. So we love you guys. We're super excited for next week, episode 84, to be able to celebrate our 2nd year on YouTube with you guys of this channel.
Yes.
So we love you guys. We hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. And until next time, we hope that you stitch your way
To mental health.